Good evening, everyone. I'm happy to be here this evening to preside this meeting in the absence of His Worship. I hope my colleagues will have patience with me if I make a little bit of mistake with the mics.
The back of the room. Et alors, ceux qui ont besoin d'appareils de traduction, ils sont disponibles à l'arrière de la salle. On va passer.
Without further ado, we will start with the opening word. Dear colleagues, grant me the serenity to accept the things I cannot accept, the courage to accept those that I can, and the wisdom to know the difference. For the confirmation of quorum by the clerk, we have quorum. Do we have conflicts of interest? None. We will now adopt the agenda, moved by Councillor Nolan, seconded by Councillor Brideau. Are there any questions? All those in favor signify by saying aye. Contrary minded, nay. The agenda is adopted. Presentations, inquiries, and petitions. 7.1 Inquiries by council members to Kodiak Regional RCMP. Good evening, Mr. Beauchesne. It's starting already, the little mic mistakes. Good evening. Are there any questions for Sergeant Beauchesne? Superintendent Beauchesne, rather. I would just like to give you an update. The last meeting, Inspector Jimmy George was here, and we received 4 complaints on speed on Amiro, and we opened a file. Since then, we had about a dozen operations. Some people were stopped. I hope you have seen a difference. I could give you the dates and the times. So we take this seriously. We want to do prevention rather than go to action, but sometimes we must. I just wanted to give you this update. I also give the council information each week. We had fraud lately, people that are calling people and saying they're from Revenue Canada. So if you get this type of complaint, please do not call Revenue Canada and rather give us the information. Thank you, Superintendent Beauchesne. Thank you for this update of the complaints that you have received and the follow-up. If there's no other question from councillors, then you're free to leave, but you can stay if you wish. It is your choice. Thank you. The next point is a certificate award to the Dieppe Cardinals. Baseball Dieppe is having a 50-year anniversary. The Bantam AAA team won the championship in the Atlantic. It's the first one team in the history that won the Atlantic Championship. So we congratulate you for this victory. I ask you to come to the middle here so that we can remit your certificate. We shall continue with number 8, item 8, questions by members of the public. Are there any questions? No questions. We shall adopt the minutes of the regular council meeting held September 28th, 2015, moved by Councillor Cormier, seconded by Councillor Dallaire. Are there any questions? All those in favor signify by saying aye. Contrary minded, nay. Carried. Number 10, motions, memorandums, nominations, administration, dangerous building at 119 Gaspé Street. Thank you, Deputy Mayor. You have a resolution before you for demolition of a building that is deemed dangerous. So we have taken the steps that are appropriate to rectify the process, and we've arrived at this point, unfortunately, this evening. So we have a resolution that gives us the authority to proceed in accordance with the power set out in the Municipalities Act. Councillor Ville. The council authorized the designated staff responsible for this matter to have the building located at 119 Gaspé Street and having PID 702-93576 demolished and to undertake the necessary steps to be reimbursed the demolition cost by the property owner pursuant to the powers set out in the Municipalities Act. I so move, Your Worship. Moved by Councillor Brideau, seconded by Councillor Nolan. Are there any questions? Seeing none. All those in favor signify by saying aye. Contrary minded, nay. Carried. At 10.1.2, new policy EXPD-1, financial incentives for real estate densification. Councillor Melanson, here you have a recommendation from Expansion Dieppe for a financial incentive for real estate in the downtown. There's a third element attached to this for the development of the downtown. This incentive adds value to buildings and encourages densification, enlarging the lots up to 2 stories high for buildings. If we have three different floors, then we get a reduction of 40%. Also, if there's underground parking, then we'll get a value added for the municipality of $10,000 per parking space underground. And the third is to add unique elements at place 1604 for development of elements that were included in our conceptual plan for 1604. So we're leaving place for creativity to add to the added value for 1604. Thank you, Mr. Melanson. For the resolution, Councillor Cormier. Thank you, Deputy Mayor. The council accept the new policy, EXPD-1, entitled Financial Incentives for Real Estate Densification. I so move. Moved by Councillor Cormier, seconded by Mr. Brideau. Are there any questions? No questions? For the vote, all those in favor signify by saying aye. Contrary minded, nay. Carried. Next point is the 2016-2020 strategic plan. The administration has been working for many months now on this strategic plan. We've had a lot of public consultations, meetings in schools, presentations at the market to consult people. We've done a lot of work on this. We've had drafts given to council to give you the progression of the file. And now we want to give you the strategic plan for 2016 to 2020, which will be a guide for the development on the next 5 years. Councillor Nolan, would you like to do the reading? The council adopt the City of Dieppe strategic plan for the 2016 to 2020 period. Moved by Councillor Nolan, seconded by Councillor Dallaire. Are there any questions? I believe the policy was clear. We've seen it a few weeks ago. There were a few minor amendments, so we will proceed to the vote. All those in favor signify by saying aye. Contrary minded, nay. Carried. The next point is planning and development, a recommendation from the PAC, a tentative plan acceptance, Rue du Collège subdivision. This is a recommendation from the committee to proceed with the acceptation of the tentative plan on Rue du Collège, the subdivision. We're planning the extension of Rue du Collège up until Rue Gillette, and we're going to inform everybody, advise everybody of the work being done for the alignment and the development so that we can plan around this recommendation. Moved by Councillor Brideau for the reading. As recommended by the Planning Advisory Committee, that Council accepts the tentative plan of the Rue du Collège subdivision, which provides for the extension of College Street as indicated on the tentative subdivision plan dated August 31st, 2015. I so move. Thank you, Councillor Brideau. Seconded by Councillor Nolan. Are there any questions? Councillor Leblanc. Thank you, Your Worship, your Deputy Mayor. I have a question on the adoption of the tentative plan. Is the municipality responsible for all the costs of construction? Or is there a way of recuperating some of these costs from the developer? In the future, there'll be development that will take place on the other side of Gauvin Street. Is that what you're talking about? The developer is responsible to build at his own cost a public street. On Gillette Street, construction will begin in a few weeks, and he will be responsible for the costs on his own property. Between Champlain and Gauvin, it will be his responsibility. It's property that belongs to the municipality, so we will be responsible for those costs. Any other question? Hearing none, all of those in favor signify by saying aye. Contrary minded, nay. Carried. 10.3.2 Membership, Canadian Radio Communications Information and Notification Service. Here we recommend to become a member of this agency that is responsible to advise its members on all developments on the territory of the radio communications system. So we would be advised of any project that could be developed on our territory, and we could control what could be done. So I think it's important that we become a member in case there could be a situation in the future. So we recommend membership to this agency. This would be an annual membership. For the reading, Councillor Nolan. That the City of Dieppe become a member of the Canadian Radio Communications Information and Notification Service by adopting the Antenna System Siting Review and Consultation Protocol. That the City of Dieppe set a combined application fee of $3,000 for each application, where $1,400 is remitted to the City of Dieppe and $1,600 is remitted to the CRINS. I so move, seconded by Councillor Prideaux. Are there any questions? Hearing none. All those in favor signify by saying aye. Contrary minded, nay. Carried. Number 11, bylaw 9, bylaw respecting traffic, proposed modifications. We have certain elements here that were amended or proposed to be amendment. Here we want to reflect the reality of the prohibited parking on 4 streets, being Aquatique, Aviation, Normandie, and Ruffin. On Aquatique, we have parking spaces. We're also adding 15 minutes on a part of Aquatic Street, and we have a loading and unloading zone for maximum of 15 minutes on Aquatic. And then we have added handicapped spaces for those who have a permit in their vehicles, so we'll have spaces available. And as well, we want to add wording with respect to the fire lanes. So we're proceeding tonight to first and second reading. For the reading, Councillor Nolan. Bylaw number 9, Bragas 26, 2015, a bylaw amendment to a bylaw number 9 of the Municipality of Dieppe respecting traffic. I propose, but in first reading. Moved by Councillor Nolan. Are there any questions? Hearing none. Inaudible. All those in favor signify by saying aye. Contrary minded, nay. Carried. Now we'll proceed to second reading. Bylaw number 9, Brackets 26, 2015, a bylaw in amendment to bylaw number 9 of the Municipality of Dieppe respecting traffic. I so move. Moved by Councillor Cormier. Seconded by Councillor Cormier. Moved by Councillor Nolan. Any questions? The 15 minutes. Is this 15-minute period sufficient? We're going to go case by case for deliveries. If it takes a little bit longer, we'll be tolerant. But if somebody just wants to deliver an envelope, that type of thing, then this is what will be in place. But if there's a lot of equipment, it'll be taken into consideration. But this is really just for services, delivery of services. No other question? All those in favor signify by saying aye. Contrary minded, nay. Carried. We finish first the second reading. Notice of motion. We had received a notice of motion at the last meeting. Usually, it should have been presented at the next meeting. That would be today. So what's happened to that motion? We did not receive anything, so that notice of motion has died. Inquiries and announcements by members of council. So I'll start with Councillor Cormier ce soir. Councillor Cormier. Thank you, Deputy Mayor. I just wanted to congratulate the Bantam team that was here a little earlier. I would also like to congratulate the team of boys, Louis XIV, who won the championship. 3 youth from Dieppe were a part of that team. I want to congratulate their good work. It was since 2006 that Nova Scotia won this championship, and this year our provincial team has won. So I congratulate our youth. Thank you, Councillor Cormier. Councillor Dallaire. Nothing. Councillor Nolan. Thank you, Deputy Mayor. I wanted to mention that last week was the official opening of the fire station number 2. It went very well. It's almost a year now since it's been in operation, and the services answered a lot of calls in the community. The open door day attracted about 1,000 people who visited the firefighters, the trucks. I was there. It was a lot of fun, and I want to thank all the firefighters and volunteers who were there, and as well as all the citizens who went to visit. So thank you, everyone. That's it. Thank you. Councillor Bridoux. Thank you, Deputy Mayor. I have nothing to mention this evening. Thank you. Councillor Leblanc. Thank you. I have nothing to mention this evening. You have nothing this evening? Oh, that's good. I want to mention that last week we had the opening of the Bass Pro Shop. It was very interesting. The store is beautiful. They have a lot of equipment in hunting, fishing, and outdoor equipment. We wish them well. We welcome them to Dieppe and hope they'll be there for a long time. and I wish you all a very good evening.